Welcome to CIAC's Glory Days Podcast. I'm your host, Jada Mirabelle, and today I'm joined by the 2024 Class AA Boys Lacrosse State Champions, Fairfield Prep. I'm joined by Luke Shannehan, Coach Graham Niemi, and Finbar Malloy. Thank you guys for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
so take us to that championship game in June. You guys came out focused. You came out really strong.
Yep.
Luke, you scored a hat trick, and so did your brother.
Yeah,
and Finbar,
sorry.
you also had a really sick goal that made it onto
Still
the
talking
Lacrosse
about
Network.
that?
Yeah.
That was a really good goal.
Oh, man.
As he spins it back. Oh, what a dodge. Now off the face dodge. Oh, ankle breaking. Finbar Malloy took on the D-Mini Stephen Olvani, who got a little off balance. He was toasted.
So take us into that game plan and that mindset heading into that matchup.
I guess I can start. We played them in the first game of the year. You go back to that and say, we were down 2 goals late in the game, and I think there was a timeout, and a lot of guys were complaining and belly aching. I'll just say that nicely. I think I said something along the lines of instead of finding a reason, find a way. It probably was a little more aggressive than that in that moment. But and the boys did a great job. I think these two had the game-winning assist and you cut it to 1 with a goal and his assist, and then we tied it or won it with your assist and his goal. Yeah. And so the boys, in that moment needed to figure out a way to win, to find a way to win a game, and they did. And then playing them again 21 games later isn't easy, because we all change. We felt like we definitely had a little bit of a face-off advantage. They definitely had a tremendous lineup. I would argue their lineup 1 to 10 was better than ours. Sorry, guys. But I thought we'd have the ball a little bit more. And if we could clear the ball and not foul, over the course of the game, that would benefit us a ton.
So Luke and Finbar, talk about your mindset coming into it in those high-pressure playoff games.
Yeah, I think for us, we take it game by game. We never really know which we're going into. But especially for that game, I think we got our matchups we wanted. We did a lot of study, a lot of film work, and from the first game, we knew how players play. So yeah, I think we came into the game pretty juiced up, and yeah, it was fun. Warm-ups were fun. We always have a big crowd at games, so we try to do that. So yeah, we kind of keep the bomb squad juiced up. Yeah. So yeah, I think
bomb squad always shows up to your games.
That's right,
always.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and just kind of adding on that, the last game of the season, obviously, there's not a lot of secrets. They know us, we know them from summer ball, and we play them earlier, and we know a bunch of those kids. But so it really just comes down to playing hard. And Coach Niemi always says ground balls, the hustle plays, you got to lead the league in hustle plays. And I think that really helped us last year, and it's something that we should. And we've been kind of honing in on as we move forward this year. So,
I try to remind these guys, we got to live minute to minute. There's 48 minutes in a high school lacrosse game. You play them 1 minute at a time. And at the moment your mind's on the end of the game, it's not on what you got to do, what the task is right in front of you. You can't look too far ahead. The old 200 feet joke is the one I like. When your car is driving at night and your high beams are on, you can only see 200 feet in front of you. And so we always try to tell them that's as far as you want to look at any point in the game.
That's a good point. It's like that next play mentality. You just live in the moment. So Luke and Finbar, you've both earned Division I commitments. You've verbally committed to Michigan, and you've verbally committed to Rutgers. Yep. Congratulations. That's awesome achievements.
Thank you.
So what do you think has played the biggest role in helping you earn those 2 D1 commitments?
That's a great question. I would say that kind of for me personally, kind of just having a multi-sport background and just kind of really honing in on being an athlete has really helped me in just specifically lacrosse, especially for more of a dodging type. Just obviously I have a football background, and then Coach Niemi was helping us out in winter with indoor track and stuff. I think that just that cross sport, that background has really benefited me for lacrosse especially. And I think just, obviously going to Fairfield Prep, playing in the big games, getting a bunch of attention there from college coaches. So really all you got to do is just show up and play, and everything else is just kind of provided for you, which is just a great blessing to be here at Prep.
That's a great answer.
Yeah. I would second that. We both play football and lacrosse. We've been playing since we were 4th grade on the Fairfield Giants state champs. I think every day, whether we go out to the field, me, Finn, and a couple of kids, we're always working on our footwork. And I think especially because in lacrosse, you're always doing footwork, and football, you're always doing footwork. So I think just being an athlete is a big part of that. And yeah, like he said, we were playing these big games. Coach Niemi's scheduling some really big games, and I think that's catching the eye of some college coaches as
Definitely.
well. So,
That's what I was going to ask. Do you think there were any specific moments that stuck out to recruiters in your careers?
Yeah, I would just say like kind of like those big games, especially down like the playoff stretch. Like obviously like the semifinals, we played at Rafferty Stadium usually every year. It's like one of the best nights of the year, packed house. So I think that there's a lot of eyes on like those games, along with like the state championship, and I think just that, just having that stage being provided for us has really helped us in our recruiting.
You're used to all the eyes on you in those high pressure, high pressure games.
Yeah,
there's no pressure. We're out there having fun, man.
Yes.
The other team's feeling the pressure. We're not.
yeah.
That's a good way to think about it. Yeah.
I try to feel that way.
Mm-hmm. So were there any training habits that you implemented throughout your 4 years at Fairfield Prep that helped you really develop? Or was it just the everyday showing up for Fairfield Prep?
I say something about these guys real quick. I mean, I'm going to jump in. Like, these two are like really elite athletes. And this kid here has worked really hard on how he moves. He moves so well. And this guy is a really quick twitch, fast, like athletic kid. And I give him a lot of credit for all the work they put in on their bodies and their athleticism. And they're still developing. They're still getting better. It's the best part about watching them. They're not done yet. In 3 or 4 years, they're going to be totally different than the way they are right now. But like they both worked really hard on how they move. And I think that's what you see. I think that's what you see from them on a lacrosse field, especially more than anything.
Yeah, that shows work ethic and dedication.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, like personally for me, like kind of like earlier in my when I really started like working out like more off field, it was kind of like more about lifting weights. But over like the past few years, I know Coach Niemi, like he mentioned, and he's the indoor track guy. Yeah, he's talking about like it's all about movement. Like movement is medicine. So I think that like getting out and just like sprinting more and just like being more athletic has really helped me for my training in all areas.
Yeah, I've been through some injuries, so yeah. And like I've missed 2023 season, 2020, a little bit of some seasons, but yeah, I think it's just coming back from those injuries, like trying to be better than I was before. So yeah, I think that like physical therapy helped me a lot for multiple injuries, and yeah, the coaches helped me a lot. So,
well, you grew really fast.
Yeah.
And not to get off topic here, but I mean, he wasn't this big. I mean, what summer did you go after your freshman year?
After freshman year.
Yeah, I mean, he grew it must have been 6 inches. I think I think at the end of the season, I was like looking at him like, okay, he's not that tall. And I came out for football workout to watch, and I'm like, who's that? That's Luke. Oh, geez. They put him at wide receiver. So I mean, his body changed. So and these guys, that happens to young people, right? Their bodies change. Yeah, and you get back issues, you get hip issues. Your muscles, your bones go one way, and your muscles got to join them, and that doesn't always work out that well. No. That's why I do think like so much of the movement stuff for these guys makes a big difference, because then your body can adapt to how you're how you've grown and changed.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, and even with injuries, like with recovery too, if you're
these guys probably don't take much time off, I'm guessing. No. Yeah, a couple days off once in a while.
You got later in your life to take off, right?
Yeah, we try to take good care of them though.
As of filming this today, the season hasn't officially kicked off yet, but you're already ranked 21 nationally, and this isn't the first year that you've been ranked nationally, so that's an awesome achievement. Yep. So what can you share about the level of team chemistry that has allowed you to achieve this national ranking?
Well, I mean, the ranking's always based on what happened the year before, so when you go 21-1 and have the kind of season that we had, that just comes with it, and we do return a lot of players. We had a couple, we added a couple kids transferred to the school, which will help us. So, but the big thing is like we have a great team culture. The standards are high, and it really starts with that. We go into every year just saying, guys, the standards are high, the expectations are high for us. Typically just about, we're the biggest team we feel like on everybody's schedule for the most part. We talk about that, and usually the season in the spring's so short. So usually we don't go into it with this is how we're going to play mindset. We kind of come into the season and say, hey, we're going to put some things in for the kids, let them start running them. We get about 10 or 11 days of practice and 3 scrimmage days before we play tomorrow. And then tomorrow we go out and we try to just, problem solve and do the best that we can, with what we have.
That's good. Yeah. So let's talk about the upcoming matchups for the season. Which games are you most looking forward to, and which ones do you think will be the biggest challenges?
Well, tomorrow, we only have one game. It's tomorrow. Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're excited about tomorrow. I mean, we did talk a little yesterday. We have 5 games in our first 10 days of the season, or 11 days, whatever it is. So we got to manage that a little bit from a practice. It's going to be the first time that we're going to be served with some adversity. It really is. I haven't given these guys any adversity yet. Sometimes I do that in practice, but tomorrow they're going to get it. There's definitely going to be a moment in tomorrow's game when it's like, okay, this is not going how we planned. And how these guys and the coaching staff manages that is really what's the big thing about tomorrow, I think, going into it, for me at least.
That first game really helps set the tone because you got a lot of new players playing together. You got to figure out how they'll work with one another. So you have a challenging schedule and a lot of out-of-state matchups. How does that help prepare you for the in-state competition?
Am I talking too much?
Yeah.
I'll go third. How's that?
Yeah.
You guys go, and then you did say I'm talking too much, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's all right.
Kind of like you said, Coach Niemi's schedule is, a really solid out-of-state schedule of teams coming down, I think, from California this year, which is pretty crazy. But, obviously all the blue bloods that we usually play, like Shannehan, and we go on, like, the New Jersey tear. And I think more than anything, like, the physicality of those teams, like, they come and they rough us up a little so that when we get back into the state, we're a little bit more, physically ready for, like, the more regular games that we play, and then also, like, as we get into the state tournament.
And I think the schedule that I make provides the kids with the opportunity to be the number one seed in the state tournament. That is one of our goals. We haven't really talked too much about this yet as a group, but we're going to, is to be the number one seed in the state tournament. We want to be. And so it's kind of nice to have a little taste of all of it, right? We go to Long Island and play, we go to Jersey and play. We're lucky enough St. Ignatius from California added us to the schedule, which they're a talented group. And their odd thing for us is we're there, it'll be our 5th game, and it'll be I think it's their 17th game. So yeah, right. So well, I mean, there's good and bad in that, right? So I mean, we're maybe a little behind in some things we might have in or ready to go, but we'll see a lot of them, and they will not have seen a lot of us. So we'll see how that shakes out when we play them. If they want to come here every year, I'll host them. St. Ignatius, if you're watching, come every year.
You've got the
I want a home game anytime. You know me, I don't like to travel. Finbar knows, right? I want to be home. I love being in Rafferty. I want to be home every chance I get.
You don't want to go to California. That'd be a little bit of a hike.
No, I don't think I'm taking these guys to California. So
Luke and Finbar, you're the new senior leaders of the team. So how are you going to help guide the team and lead by example?
I think personally I'm not like the biggest vocal leader on the team. I mean, I think just like leading by example is a really big part. I mean, one of the good things about this year, we were really deep in talent. We have like 3 really solid midfield lines that can go and play wherever. So I think just leading the team and just trying to be the best or whenever or whichever game. And kind of just like lead by example, especially. Yeah.
That's sometimes more effective than you don't have to be vocal. Leading by example is sometimes what gets the message through.
Yeah. Just kind of to add on that, we got a bunch of young guys, especially on the defensive side, just kind of enabling in them that they're in a good spot and like they don't really have to like worry about too much because like Coach Epstein says, he likes to joke around me and say like, go up to that kid and say like, I was way worse than you were as a sophomore, so you're gonna be just fine. So like, just kind of creating that confidence, and especially a lot of the younger guys, I think is a role that is really important and that I could take care of.
And you have the brotherhood here too, which is so nice. That really makes a big difference on the field as well.
some of the stuff these guys do away from lacrosse helps. The team dinners, the getting together away from the field is great too. Yeah, and these guys are hard workers, so like we'll end practice some days like today, maybe hopefully get out of there early, and there'll be a window where they can stay, and that's a great time for them to pull, a younger guy, hey, pull a sophomore and go, hey, we're going to go down and shoot for 15 minutes together before we go home, and that's what these guys can do to really help us come together.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what specific training methods or coaching strategies have you found the most effective for this team that you've implemented?
Going down that road, I thought I was going to talk about speed and stuff. Theo said, don't talk about it. Well, I mean, I would say this. I mean, I think, we 2 years ago, in 2022, we lost in state semifinals. Unfortunately, that year, Jimmy McGrath was murdered. So there's a lot of reasons that didn't go, the whole season kind of ended the way it ended. We were hurt. I mean, that year we were hurt. I mean, there was I can tell stories about, we played Cheshire, and I remember in the 4th quarter, I looked out on the field, and there were 6 kids playing offense in a tie game that had never played together before. I think you were one of them. I think you were on attack at that point.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and like we were just, we're all hurt. And so Tony Valance is my defensive coordinator, teaches history here. The two of us like kind of looking at each other, like, well, how are we going to not let this happen again? Because in a high school season, like I've said a few times, it's so short. I have such a small amount of time with these guys. Like the most important thing is their availability. It's the most important thing, is their health and availability. I want every kid to be able to play. And so we went into the fall, we started doing our usual, kids who don't play football and soccer or whatever, started training. And I'm looking at the guys going, you could see like they were kind of, it's what we had been doing before. And so I had reached out to this guy, Tony Holler, who's a science teacher and a high school track coach in north of Chicago. And I've been following him a little bit on Instagram and Twitter, and I'm reading about this stuff, and I'm like, maybe I have this all wrong. You know, I was like, I'd come from the school of, you know, the practice should be the hardest thing you do. And it should be harder than the games, because the games feel easy. You know, and this guy's saying the opposite. You know, he's saying, you know, maybe the game should be the hardest thing we do. Maybe I should keep my team fresh going into a game. Maybe I shouldn't beat them up all week, you know, and then going into a game, they're mentally tired and physically tired, and we're not fast and athletic. And so kind of went down a little bit of a rabbit hole, and we started doing some of this Feed the Cat stuff. I got involved in our track program, and for 2 years, we kind of had this, like, I was joking with these girls earlier that try it out is what I was kind of calling it to myself. Wasn't making them come, but was trying to create like a culture with the track program that would attract better athletes, especially my kids, in the winter, so we could train and get ready for the season. And with that, I knew that some of them would be really good at it, and some of them might not be that good at it. But more importantly, we were doing kind of a low dosage, high, you know, max velocity kind of training in the winter, and plus doing some movement stuff and getting in the weight room. We were kind of checking all the boxes, and we're 39-5 since. I mean, am I counting Will Essie as an injury? Yes. Will Essie's, we had one kid hurt a hamstring in basically that time. And we've had one kid miss a game outside of Will for a soft tissue injury in 2 years.
Wow.
So we've been healthy. And we definitely, there's days like a day like yesterday is a great example. We played Wednesday at Greenwich. And I'm like, said to the staff, there's 3 things we're going to do today, and they're going to be slow. They're not going to be full speed, but we got to get through them because they're mental and important. And I think you guys left practice probably feeling pretty good yesterday. Yeah, and because the goal is on Saturday to be the fastest and freshest we can be.
Energized.
Yep, and we got to play, to win a state championship, you got to play 22 games in 10 weeks, all right? And so I've got to keep these guys fresh mentally. I've got to keep them fresh physically, and that's the big thing that we changed. I think some days my staff looks at me like I'm crazy. Like I'm gonna say, I love Ryan McClay. He's one of our defensive coaches, and he's like, we don't practice hard enough. I'm like, but listen, man, you've got every guy you want. You know. That's true. I can't control broken stuff, right? Bones, shoulders, you know, concussions. Those are stuff that are out of my control. But I can control their tissue and how healthy they are. So this team is healthy right now. We have a couple little bumps and bruises with, you know, bones, but tissue-wise, we're healthy. No hamstrings, no. Right? Sorry, I'll do it. I got it.
Yeah, ideally, that would be great. So let's hope everyone stays healthy throughout the season so we don't miss any games.
Definitely. So that was a long answer. I apologize.
Okay. So into heading this next season tomorrow, if you had to choose one motto or one mantra for the season, what would it be?
I mean, we always like ever since I've been here, we've had be the best.
Yeah, that's be the best comes from the University of Maryland. That's a Buddy Beardmore thing. So we just want the boys to be the best they can be every day. You know, and that's how we break the huddles.
What life lessons have you all taken away from high school lacrosse, coaching and playing?
I'll go with these guys.
We'll let them start.
That's a good question. I would say just like, honestly, just like kind of like the discipline that comes from it all. I mean, like obviously, you know, you practice, and then you play the game, so you work hard, and then hopefully you perform well. So, you know, there's like a reward for all the work you're putting in. And when you're really intentional and, you know, do that to the best of your ability, then hopefully the games will pay off. So I think kind of like the discipline to reward, like kind of like reaping what you sow mentality, that has really stuck out to me and been something that I've learned and have applied to, you know, all different things like my relationships, academics. So it really goes a lot further than athletics in that sense. So I think that's helped me a lot.
Yeah, that's really important for life. You get what you put in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It was like kind of similar to what I was gonna say. Like things that I've learned, just kind of staying disciplined, like through practice. I mean, it's never gonna be like it's either going to be an easy day or a hard day, but kind of just doing working as hard as you can for the game. I mean, you're going to have a game. Hopefully it's going to be the easiest part, but just stay working hard, stay hungry. Kind of like.
Yeah, it's super important.
I think for me, I think I've grown to appreciate, as I've gotten older, I'm almost 51 now, that like being a part of a team is special. Not everybody gets to do that. Yeah, that's one of the things that I will say. It's one of the things that makes this place really special. Is I think everybody comes back. You know, I've been here now 9 years, and the one thing I see and tell people all the time is like, this place, everybody comes back. You know, and there are other places kids can go, and like some of these kids at this school have come and gone, and I think most of them, it's funny, the ones that leave, they come back. You know, but when you graduate from here, everybody comes back. Like our college kids, we have 20-some kids playing in college right now. Like, as soon as their season's over, the first place they come here.
To watch the game.
They go watch a game,
Yeah.
come to practice, see the guys. I think that's one of the things that makes Fairfield Prep really special. And I think definitely within our program, it's been great. I always tell the seniors, like, you want the team to be better when you're gone. That means you left something behind. You don't want to come back and have the team not be any good. That means you didn't do it right. If you do it right, the next year we're better. And that's what these guys got to leave for the next year's team.
That speaks volumes, though, that they always come back and visit. It speaks very highly of the school and of the culture.
Yeah, I think this is one of those places. I think it's just one of those places.
I think last year we had like a small bomb squad of just all like the college lacrosse players that we had.
Probably.
Yeah,
Little
like
college
Fox.
section.
Yeah, we had a
No.
little bomb squad
Little
for the state
alumni.
championship.
Yeah,
That's
that was
awesome.
fun.
Yeah,
It's definitely very special.
Yeah.
So now we're going to head into some rapid fire questions. So these are a surprise. You
Okay.
just whatever first thing comes to your mind.
Just for that?
It's for everyone.
Okay.
We're going to go through a little rotation. Okay. Luke, favorite pregame hype song?
I would say Headlines by Drake.
Okay. Finbar, one word to describe your playing style.
Versatile.
Okay, that's a good one. Coach, what's more important, lacrosse IQ or athleticism?
Oh boy. Lacrosse IQ.
Luke, any superstitions with your gear?
Ooh, a lot. I do a lot. Tape my stick the same way. Tape my helmet the same way across here. But yeah, put my left thumb first before my
Okay.
right every time.
Well, I asked the right person that
You
question.
still sleep with the stick before the game or not? Oh, not anymore.
Never
Did you
did
used to
that.
do that?
No, never did that.
That's my
Joke.
putter, Luke. That's what I sleep with.
Finbar, best sports movie of all time.
Space Jam.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's a good one.
Coach, what's your go-to coaching phrase? I know we talked about a few, but
Oh boy. What are we gonna say?
let's see, they might know.
They
the
might. They
answer
probably
before
should ask
you, yeah.
them.
It's supposed to be a sprint.
It's supposed to be a sprint. Oh yeah, they laughed at me on that one. No, I probably stay in the moment. Stay in the moment.
It's good. Luke, who's your lacrosse goat?
Go. Gosh, I don't know.
Tough one.
Yeah. I would say CJ Kurse is lighting it up right now. He's up and coming, but yeah, I think he's.
There you go.
Okay. Finbar, best advice you've ever received?
Best advice I ever received. Kind of like you. I guess I kind of said it earlier, but you reap what you sow.
So true.
Yeah.
Coach, most rewarding part of coaching?
Spending time with guys like this every day.
Okay, Luke, I had this written down before. I didn't know you were going to say it. How do you tape your stick? Do you tape your stick a certain way? Because apparently
Yeah.
it's a superstition.
Just like more than midway. That's kind of it. Just
Okay.
to hold my both my hands. So yeah.
Okay. Finbar, pregame routine.
Kind of. It starts the night before. I eat chicken parm every night before, and then I do like this kind of stretching routine, and then that's really it.
That's good. That's a good routine with some chicken parm in there. Coach, most underrated skill in lacrosse?
Picking up round balls.
Luke, favorite trick shot?
Got to be the BTB.
Oh, jeez.
Finbar, biggest influence on your lacrosse career so far?
Honestly, I guess Coach Niemi, he's helped me out, and he's been coaching me for a bunch of years, so kind of him helping me out with recruiting and stuff. So yeah.
Coach, how do you get players locked in for a game?
Oh boy, me. I honestly, last year I didn't even talk before the games. I stopped doing it. Right, and I did the day before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I trust them. I think every team's different. This team certainly has a lot of older players. I think that they don't need. I don't think they'll need me. And even last year towards the end of the year, I stopped talking before the games, and I did it the day before because I just wanted to say what needed to be said and let them do what they're supposed to do.
They trust them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Luke, when did you start playing lacrosse?
Probably when I was like 3 and my dad played. So yeah, just whenever I could stand.
Started young. Finbar, favorite sports besides lacrosse?
Football.
Football?
Yeah.
I should have known that.
Yeah.
Coach, what has been your most memorable moment of coaching here at Fairfield Prep?
Oh, besides, boy, that's a tough one. Besides, the state championship game obviously last year would probably be honestly, it was probably the game, the SEC championship after Jada Mirabelle died. Just the way the guys handled that was special.
I remember
That
seeing
was
online when that happened. There was a rainbow over one of the games in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was special.
The way the way the kids handled themselves that night and the way they went about it, I'll never forget that.
Yeah, that had to be a very difficult time.
Yep.
So lastly on the Glory Days podcast, we always like to wrap up by asking, what do you think the purpose of high school sports is?
Want me to go last or first? Why don't you guys go first?
It's your choice.
I think just do the most sports as you can. I mean, I think that you only this is cliche, but you only live once, so like do the most sports you can. I think it really teaches you like life lessons throughout each season you go through, football, lacrosse, whatever it is, basketball. Yeah.
Definitely, that's a great answer.
Yeah, I think we kind of touched on this earlier, but just like kind of the relationships that you're building. I mean, especially, Fairfield Prep, all the kids, like pretty much not our whole team, but a lot of the kids grow up together, play sports together, and like we're all best friends. So being able to play like with your best friends and go out and like chase state championships is like something you can't really forget. So it's awesome.
That's awesome memories to have for the rest of your life too.
I would say I think that, sports teaches you how to work, and the kids that work get a chance to find out how good they are, for better or for worse. I think they interviewed me in 23, and I said this to the guy from Game Time. I said, the work you put in as an athlete is what makes you a man, and not every kid gets to go to Michigan or go to Rutgers or play at Maryland like that, right? And some kids like they work as hard as they can, and they maybe never play. But they find out how good they are with the work. And I think the work defines you. And so I think that's what high school sports teaches people. It's a hard lesson sometimes for some kids. They don't get the same stuff that these guys get, but they also find out who they are. And I think that's probably the most important lesson kids can get out of it.
That's a great answer. Those values are so important to take for the rest of your life.
No doubt.
So thank you all for joining me on the podcast today. You did great.
Thank
Wish you
you.
the best
Thank
of
you.
luck this
Thank you.
season. I
Thank
hope
you.
you're able to come out with a back-to-back.
We're going to try. We're going to try. Thanks for having us.
Of course.